What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So in this video, I just want to talk with you and chat with you about the cover of a book that Colin Kaepernick is going to be releasing soon. It's going to be released around October of this year. And it's going to be entitled Abolition for the People, the Movement for a Future Without Policing and Prisons, edited by Colin Kaepernick. Now, this book is an anthology, and it's a collection of about 30 essays. And as you can see, Colin Kaepernick, he's going to be the editor, and he's going to contribute an essay as well. And also, as you see on the cover, you see a person. She appears to be a black woman. She has noticeably black features. You know, you can see the skin tone. You can see the nose, you can see the lips, you can even see the hair being very textured. It seemingly looks like 4C hair texture. And also she has her mouth open, wide open for some reason or another. And when this image got around on social media, some folks, particularly a segment of black women, took issues with this image because they feel like this image is helping to perpetuate like a negative stereotype about black women, but more so I think it's perpetuating an image of black women being the face, particularly brown skin and dark skinned black women, being the face of political activism, defiance against the system, and also the face of abolishing the police and the prisons. And I definitely understand the concern about brown skin and dark skinned black women's image. And as well, I feel like only brown skin and dark skinned black women will be concerned with their image, as far as like other groups taking concern and being concerned about black women's image. But I will say that, one, I feel like this collection of essays probably is going to be featuring a lot of black female voices and opinions and points of view. Like, I feel like the authors of these 30 essays, I feel like a lot of them are going to be black women for some reason. I could be wrong about that, but that's the vibe that I'm getting. And the reason that I'm thinking that is because, one, a black woman is on the cover, but that could be like a diversion. But also, a lot of times, in my personal opinion, I tend to hear this rhetoric coming more so from black women than black men. I'm not saying that this rhetoric doesn't come at all from black men and that no black man on earth has ever said it, but when I tend to hear it, particularly in social media spaces, it tends to be coming from black women. If you guys do know of some black men who do speak rhetoric like this, feel free to post it in the comments section. But again, that's just my personal opinion. And because of this, I do think that this image is true to life, and I know that that isn't the argument here that black women are making, brown skin and dark skin black women, and just black women in general to an extent, but especially brown skin and dark skin black women though. I know that's not the argument that they're making or trying to make, that hey, this isn't true, this isn't the image that's true to life to black women. But nevertheless, I do feel the need to point that out because that does play a role in why this image was chosen. And partially as well, I feel like black women do have to stop tasking themselves so much with other people's problems and issues. And I know some people are going to come through and like make an argument that, hey, well, this is black women's fight too, which understandably it is, since this is something that would affect the community. But I do feel like black men should be leading this charge, if there is to be a charge about abolishing the police and the prison system, considering that black men tend to bear the brunt more so of policing and the prison system. Think about it. If the police were to be abolished, black men would reap the most benefits. And considering that black men would reap the most benefits, it seems like it would be logical that black men would lead this charge. But for some reason, I don't see that happening. I'm not quite sure why that is. I think maybe black men just are a bit more realistic, maybe. or just don't feel like putting in the energy. You know, a lot of black men do think that they can just have, you know, in white supremacy with interracial relationships, which I do feel that is a very, very, very lazy way of, you know, fighting. Let's put that in quote, fighting white supremacy, right? And the same thing with colorism arguments too. It's like, oh well, you see all these brown and dark-skinned children being born, you know, there ain't no colorism. See, like, oh, that just eliminates colorism. It's like black men want to fight racism and white supremacy with the phallus. And it's just, it ain't gonna work. We've been there, done that as a group of people. All right. If that was the case, we would have been done with this whole system by now. And I know that was a bit of a sidebar, but I had to kind of throw that in there too. The YouTuber Paris Milan put together a petition about this. And, you know, kudos to her for taking the initiative to do something like that and using her platform to push something like that. At least she's not just talking about it, but also trying to be about it too. And really is being about it, really. And I did sign the petition. And I believe the goal, as of last time I checked, was about 15,000. And they seem to be pretty close. The last time I checked was about 14,000. At least. I think it was a little more than 14,000. So almost there. You know, it's getting there. And also this helps to create some conversation and some dialogue about the black woman's image and how it's being used and exploited in some cases. And as well, people have also brought this to Colin Kaepernick's attention. Will he change the cover? I don't know. I want to lean more towards a no right now. But I feel like there is still time to change the cover. Since right now we're in May and it is released in October, I do think there is, I could be wrong, but I still think there's some time to change the cover. Now, will folks change the cover? I don't know, because, you know, some people do come swooping in with the capes on saying, you know, I like this cover, this my cover, this what's up, black women get it done. You know, particularly some black women may swoop in and be like, they like the cover, they like being on, you know, being in the spotlight like that. Maybe. But I do see more so pushback versus push forward about this. And also, I know some black women have kind of come through and spoken and made the statement and the argument that it seems like folks, they do know when to find a black woman, a phenotypically unambiguous, easily identifiable black woman when it comes to putting her in and using her image in situations like this. So folks do know what a black woman looks like, you know. Folks ain't really singing that song about all skin tones matter. You know, we all black and we come in so many different shades and colors and varieties. Ooh, they not really singing that song right now, right? But, you know, that's because it's not, right now it's about like work. This is like work stuff. This is like some meal type stuff, right? So right now, they know what a black woman looks like because they need a mule, a mammy, a pick-a-me, two pick-me-shoes. And, you know, that does say a lot. And sometimes this may be even subconsciously, which is even like a bigger problem and speaks to an even bigger issue if this is being done subconsciously. But I don't know the rationale that Colin Kaepernick had. In his defense, he may have just been saying, hey, well, you know, black women are very heavily represented in this book and in this argument and in this discussion, so let's put them on the cover. Perhaps, or maybe he was just like, hey, I don't care about the black woman's image. Let's use her for police defiance, right? But I do notice, like, and definitely get where black women are coming from, where it's like, well, why don't you tend to not see black men's image being associated with this? nearly as much. And this largely is being done in, on behalf of black men. As we know, people don't really raise a big fuss as much when it's a black woman as the victim for some reason. When it's a black man as the victim, it tends to be a bigger story. Both in the community and in the mainstream. And I understand to an extent in the mainstream because they want to show black men as being helpless victims, right? Which is an image that is very nice for them to perpetuate, since it shows black men as just not being able to, basically just being victims, can't defend themselves, can't defend their women, their communities, just very much helpless and powerless, right? So I understand that being pushed in the mainstream. And when it comes to women in the mainstream and not being pushed, well, they don't want to show black women as that because, I don't know, I think maybe they feel like since she's a woman, she's able to play that role and to have that role, so it would be helping to perpetuate black femininity in a way, and maybe they don't want to do that, you know. This is just my conjecture and speculation about this, though. Oh yeah, y'all also remember during those George Floyd protests that happened like in 2020? Y'all remember when like there were so many images of black women being, circulated in the media and in social media as well. And these black women were phenotypically black women. These black women were brown skinned and dark skinned black women. They had quote unquote black features, that are typical of black women and just black people in general. Of course, the skin tone, the hair texture, ethnic hairstyles too. Notice that, right? Now, since the protests have died down, where are those images at? Where are those images at now? And of course, this was already, predicted way before now. This was already predicted when this was when that was happening, that was going to end up being the case. But I just want to throw that in there. But I think I've mentioned all I have to mention. I don't want to go on for too long. I just want to come through and give my thoughts and opinions right quick just about this whole situation. And just see what you guys think about this. So let me know what you think in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.